Can I just get a timer as well? That'd be sweet. Counting down or counting up, I don't mind, yeah. Yeah, beauty. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you. Let's get started. Welcome to another episode of the Game of Life podcast. I'm thrilled today to be joined by one of the best entertainers here in Australia, if not the best entertainer in the world. The best entertainer who's ever lived or ever will live, Bobby Fox. Welcome to the show.
I dare not say a word because it just keeps getting better and better, mate. Thank you. It's very nice of you to say all those lovely things.
The first person on the podcast too that's had an Irish accent as well.
Oh, you're the very first Irish person.
I think that just immediately elevates a podcast. In a way.
Hopefully so. I mean, it's my accent is ever diluting, but I think it's reached sort of a level. It's just it's sitting now at a standard level. It does get thicker as soon as I get home to Ireland, and I try and get home every year. So, look, I think that I hear my voice sometimes like say some things, and I go, "Oh, well, that's very Australian, very, very Australian." And yeah,
does that happen when you go back home? Do they say, "Oh, you sound very Aussie"?
Oh yeah. I mean, initially yes, because when I first came here, and I'd done so much time like traveling around the world when I was younger, and it had changed sort of a bit. And then as soon as I moved to Australia, and I was here for such a long time, then it started to massage its way over to the Aussie sort of feel, softness.
You've been here for 20 years now, right?
Yeah, I've been a resident since 2003, and then last year I became a citizen.
Yes, wonderful. So I guess that's a good place to start. Like, why did you move to Australia to begin with?
So I moved to Australia. My background is all in Irish dancing, and so when I was 15, I did my very first show, which was Riverdance, which was kind of like the phenomenon that sort of catapulted Irish dancing into being somewhat a professional avenue for work. Before that, it was very much a pastime and competitive sort of thing, a training thing. And so then I did a bunch of shows then for about 2 or 3 years, and one of them came to Australia, and I really liked Australia, and I decided to just come back and move back for essentially just for a year, like a year's working holiday visa, like a lot of people do. And then I came here and I got into this. I wanted to learn how to do other types of dance because I'd only done Irish dancing. And this was in 2002.
Right.
And so I ended up somehow auditioning for a dance school in Sydney that was doing a full-time course, and they needed boys. It was like their second year that they were doing the course, and they needed boys, so they accepted me in, and I just sort of started to just grow and get better, and then within that course, I started singing because I hadn't sang before. And so I then sort of was like, oh, I reckon I'd like to do a musical,
right?
Part of a musical. So then I started auditioning for shows, and I came back to Australia and decided I wanted to be here. And the people that ran the course that I did believed in me, and they wanted to help me as much as possible to stay. So they actually tried to sponsor me, which they couldn't do because they weren't going to be employing me. And then because they are Italian and they had gone through the whole moving over process, and big process, they had people that were able to direct me in the right way, basically, on the right avenue towards getting what I needed. And so we did that, and it was a pretty quick process. Did
you think you could sing? Was that something that you...
I didn't know that the level that I could sing when I was just singing by myself or whatever, I didn't know that was anything special.
Right.
I didn't know. I just thought kind of everyone can kind of sing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how would you rate your sort of, I guess, singing abilities back then versus what they are now?
Oh, well, I guess there's different facets to it, right? So you've got the ability to, the capacity for tone and to be in key and to sing a tune properly. Right. And then there's a certain amount of range that you kind of naturally have. And then there's training, which allows you to take everything that you've got naturally and extend it, and then to be able to do it just kind of better at a more professional level, and to be able to do that consistently over years and years and years without wearing yourself out.
Right.
So in terms of what I am now, then there's the other layer of interpretation and ability to perform and ability to mold and ability to sort of express oneself as desired, let's say. And so it's kind of chalk and cheese in many ways, but also there's a lot of similarities. You want to keep your authenticity as what your sound is. And when you're younger, you're trying a lot of different things on. You're trying to affect your voice in many ways to what you think you want it to sound like. And then as you sort of develop, or certainly this was for me, because I didn't come from a singing background, so I just wanted to like be great. You know, I was like, how do I want my voice to sound? And I was a great mimicker, so I would sort of mimic people and the people that I was around and stuff. But then, comparatively speaking, then over time, then through work and experience, what I've learned is that really what I'm after is to sort of have my own voice. The voice that's naturally there is enough.
Right.
And then what I want to do with that is just sort of shine it up and allow it to shine.
Did you have? I mean, going from dancing to musical theatre can sound like a bit of a leap, right?
Yeah.
Did you have an idea of what working on a musical theatre show would look like when you started auditioning for roles in music theatre?
Yeah, because I'd done so many shows before that. Like, I didn't really think that it was going to be anything different, and really it wasn't. Like, the only thing about it was that it was more the scale. So I was a part of a lot of shows, and my first show was Riverdance, and as I had mentioned, and that was my first ever like professional experience, really first ever job, and to go into that, and it was a huge international production and touring unit. And then past that, then I went into a show that played on the West End in London, and then to Radio City in New York City. So so the scale of were the things that I was used to, and those houses were something that I was used to seeing.
Yeah, of course.
And that schedule is something that whole mechanism I was very, very used to. Yeah. So then when it came to going into musicals, it was just kind of the same, just using a different facet of talent.
So did it feel like a natural fit when you eventually got that first role?
Oh yeah. But into my first musical, which was Mamma Mia, that it wasn't a leap. It was just the fact that I was now singing. Yeah. The system was there, the schedule was there, the stage manager, the company management, the touring unit, the rehearsals, the responsibilities. It's just, it was something that I was well versed with. 100%, yeah.
Was acting always there as well? Is that something you sort of had to try to develop when you
Acting would be the thing that I've had to work on the most. Yeah. Acting would be the thing that I was least natural with. Dance, because I grew up as a kid, I had the knack for dancing. Yeah. I had great rhythm and timing, and could copy. As I said, I was a great mimic. Yeah. So someone would show me something, and then I would be able to do it. The kind of thing. So that is such a huge aspect of when you're first starting out, being able to sort of see something and then make your body do it. And then going into then the aspect of singing, that was something that I could just sing. I could sing very well. It was a natural ability. And then through training, obviously, as I had mentioned before, then it evolves. But with acting, that was something that I genuinely needed to, it took time to become somewhat of a natural, I would say. It wasn't a natural ability. Yeah. It wasn't something that I really spent any time thinking about either.
Mamma Mia was 2 years, is that right?
Yeah, I was part of Mamma Mia for, 2 years. Yeah, about 2 years.
So when you look back on that first musical theatre contract, how do you think you went?
I think I did great. Yeah. I mean, look, it was my first musical, and I had a speaking part. Yeah. and then I was also a cover for one of the other leading roles. My part would have been what you would call sort of a minor principal, sort of featured part. And then I covered the main sort of young guy, Sky. And so that brought out a lot. That was a great opportunity to grow as an actor because as I say, I started out, it was just, didn't really have any sort of technique or ability. And then, through the great thing with musicals is you have associate directors and you have resident directors that tour with you, and they have to guide the show, and they have to at times kind of hold your hand through things. So I mean, I was in my early 20s, and as I had mentioned, not really put any stock or weight or time into the thought of what acting was outside of, I think I need to emote now,
right?
And that's not what it is at all. And so it's like it was an ability. It sort of allowed me to see potential in myself, and allowed me to dream, allowed me to go, I think I can actually do good at this. I think I can actually believe in myself more.
Yeah. When you, I guess, when you enter into one of those contracts for a musical theatre show, do you have an idea in your head how you're going to balance out your life and the schedule for the show?
If I'm on tour, do I have an idea of how I'm going to schedule my life?
Yeah.
Not particularly. Being in a show, being in a musical, I'm going to tell you now, and I'm going to say it down the barrel, is the best.
Yeah.
I love it so much. I love it so much. Now, it's hard when you are in the ensemble and you cover and you are an understudy, because it's a lot of hours. It's a lot of extra hours.
Right.
Because in the traditional sort of working week of the music theatre realm, which I'm sure you would have covered many times on this podcast, you Mondays off. You have a Tuesday night show. You have 2 shows on a Wednesday. You have a Thursday and Friday night show, 2 shows on a Saturday, and then 1 show on a Sunday. And then sometimes it's 2 shows on a Sunday, 2 shows on a Saturday. Sometimes that, depending on this style of show, depending on whether that matinee, it's a more of a matinee audience. So that is, kind of a good work week if you are, if that's all you're doing. Like, there's a lot of hours in there, but if that's all you're doing, like you get to work at maybe 6:30, and you finish at 10:30 maybe. So that if that's what you're doing a 1-show day, then that would be that. But if you're an understudy, then you're there from 1 until 5, and then you're doing understudy calls, and then you got a break, and then you do the show, and then you do 2 shows on the Wednesday, and then you're back on the Thursday, and you do 1 till 5 again, and then you're doing the nighttime show, and then you've got Friday, then you got 2 on the Saturday, and then you've got 1 early one on the Sunday. So it's very you are quite limited. Yeah. Now, for me though, in terms of like when I start a show, I love how that natural rhythm to the day. The older I get, the earlier I get into bed, basically. But it's kind of the scheduling and the rhythm of it takes care of itself. Yeah. And to be honest, it just suits me down to the ground. Yeah. Like for a long time, I sort of was thinking like, is this something that I actually really want to do? And then even just before I walked in here, like when I parked the car, I had the thought of like, I was like, I'm just doing the best job for my personality.
Right.
The schedule always changes, even when you're out of a musical and you're performing and you're being that corporate entertainer, or you're providing entertainment for an event or a tour or like whatever. The change up is something that I really love, that it constantly changes, whereas sometimes I really desire the consistency of what someone would do with the 9 to 5 with the 2 days off and all that, but really I don't want that. What I want is exactly what I'm doing, and I just love it. It allows me time to express myself and to be the person I am. It also allows me time to escape and be by myself, and to recharge by myself. I get my recharging by being by myself or by being at home. So in terms of having to plan out a schedule, no, the work schedule takes care of that. I go to the gym, so that goes in there. You know, I cook for myself generally, so that's locked in. And then life admin needs to get done, so you just get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like you would be someone who's very good at staying present within sort of a long-term musical theatre contract. Do you
Define
think,
present. How do you mean?
I guess a lot of people, I suppose, when they get into that sort of rhythm of doing an 8-show week, it's the same show every single day. Like, are you good at sort of reminding yourself, oh, like, look at what I get to do? Like, do you sort of find yourself falling into a rhythm of like just going through the motions?
No,
Yeah.
I know I'm old enough to now really appreciate it. And I've had such waxing and waning experiences within the industry. I mean, when you look at someone's CV over a long period of time, it looks like it's quite full.
Right.
But really, then when you're going through it daily and seasonally and all that kind of stuff, then there are peaks and troughs right through that. And there's waxing and waning emotions towards and opinions, self-opinions of towards what it is that you're doing. And so, you know, it's to me it has been quite a difficult thing, because with what I do as a performer, there's no guarantees. There's the system is completely flawed for performers. We are only as good as our next audition, which keeps you on your toes or whatever, but it's totally different to every other industry where there are shortfalls and where there are security mats and safety nets and all of that in every aspect of what in other professions. And even if you're terrible at your job, there's still a job for you. There's plenty of it around there, and you can live a moderate life and live that happily and whatever. Whereas for a performer in this country, that does not exist. What we have to be is fantastic, because an audience deserves to get a fantastic product for the money that they spend on their entertainment budget.
Yeah.
So it's you know, there's good and bad things there, but I mean, I've lost my train of thought even to as to why I started talking.
No. You answered that question very well. When you find yourself coming to an end of a contract, what is that following day like post show?
Okay, it used to be when I was younger, it used to feel like an end of a relationship. It used to really, it was a very emotional thing, because so much of your identity is locked into that.
Of course, yeah.
And so for me now, it's just that it's more like the first Thursday that you don't get paid, where the pay doesn't come through, you go, oh,
yeah,
I missed that show. I miss Thursdays. It's that. It's a job.
Yeah.
Yes, there's some fantastic elements to it or whatever. But and there's a certain amount of romance to it.
Yeah.
There is. But that thing of it being this identity's sort of pinning thing has gone. That's well over.
Yeah.
And so that's way healthier. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The people that you really like, that you genuinely have connections with, you will stay in contact with. The people that you like in just as an acquaintance and as a professional, you know, person that you might see at an opening night and great to see, you'll see them whenever that happens. Yeah. And life will just continue on, and you will you'll look at it and go, that was a very positive experience, or maybe a negative experience.
Yeah.
Maybe it was negative. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which one it is, really.
Are you someone who enjoys those opening night parties after a show?
I used to. Well, I used to drink.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, cool, we did it, rehearse. Because you're doing rehearsals and tech and previews and then opening, and it's a big thing. There's so much lead up, so much work.
Yeah.
Now I don't drink, so it's just my opening night is Macca's, is McDonald's afterwards. I'm like, cool, let's get through it. Let's let's say hi, let's do the business thing, and let's do the networking chat thing that we do, and it's genuine. The best way to really cope with all those things is to have genuine joy for the people that you see, of course. But like me, then I'm like, We're going to go. It's going to go. It's time. Like, you get bored pretty quickly.
Right. Yeah.
I'm glad I don't do it anymore because I just go, it makes you see what it was that you were really excited for, which was having a nice old booze up after a show and like with your mates and it's the free bar and the whole bit. And it's great. And you get all dolled up and stuff, but all that's kind of out the window now. I don't really care about that.
Yeah. When did Jersey Boys come along for you?
So Jersey Boys came along. That came on. I had done about 5 years worth of shows here in Australia. When I filmed after Mamma Mia, that was 2 years. So there's another 3 years of touring.
Yeah,
I did a bunch of shows. There was We Will Rock You and Spamalot and.
You in Spamalot?
Yeah, I was. In
I did not know about this. I didn't know this.
Yeah,
about
I was in Spamalot.
Yeah.
The very short season of
course,
Spamalot.
yeah.
And so I was awesome. God, I loved Spamalot so much.
Yeah. What characters did you cover in Spamalot?
Well, I covered Lancelot.
Yeah.
I covered Lancelot. That's all I covered.
Yeah.
Just Lancelot.
Lancelot. Okay. Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. That was the first show I did that was really comedy based, and that really opened up my scope, my lens to what comedy is and what the technique of comedy and the actual technical elements of what comedy is and just the sheer fun of it.
Yeah.
And the cast as well. Like I was in it with some of my best mates and it was awesome.
Who was in that cast of Spamalot? Remind me.
God, Jason Langley.
Yes.
It was Billy Brown that was King Arthur. Derek Metzger. God, me and names. Ben Lewis, who just passed away.
Oh,
yeah, it was really sad. Lots and lots of other people, but just me and names is just a disaster.
Yeah.
But
sorry, I derailed you from Jersey Boys, but yes,
Billy
please.
Brown,
Yes.
Billy Brown was amazing. He was such a character.
Yeah.
But so Jersey Boys came along. Then after Spamalot, then what was I doing? It was sort of around the Spamalot end of Spamalot was when there was talk of Jersey Boys auditions and stuff.
Yeah.
And then that's when I started the audition process for it, and that's when I we sort of went through all that and then got it. Then so I was 26.
Oh wow! Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah. 26.
And that role sort of catapulted you into people's, minds. It's fair to say. Yeah. Was that a surprise for you?
What?
To get that sort of recognition for Jersey Boys the way you did?
Not particularly. Was it a surprise? Was I blown away? No.
Yeah.
The show was amazing.
Yeah, of course.
The show was amazing.
Yeah.
And I'd seen it on Broadway and I knew what it was doing globally. I could see the effects of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a huge, it was a behemoth. It was a huge juggernaut of a production. And rightly so. I mean, they really pumped so much money into it to promote it and to really have it, stamp it as the it show of that season, of that time.
Yeah.
And for me, everything was about competency. It was about ability. It was about doing it well.
Yeah.
None of it had anything. I was like, I wasn't blown away by like, oh, I'm doing this now. And, oh, I'm doing that now.
Yeah.
I was like, what are we doing? Right, I'm going to smash that. I'm going to nail that. That is my personality is more of like the production of it. How do I produce myself to do a great job of that?
Do you feel that responsibility on your shoulders when you go into a show so iconic like that?
No, I don't feel any responsibility at all. Outside of personal, just a personal one. How do I do the job very well for me? How do I do it so that it's a great performance? Do you know what I mean? And I could turn it around and then think of it as, like, oh, it's my responsibility because I'm the person that the production has given the reins to spearhead this, blah, 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 blah. No, I don't. All of that is pointless to me.
Yeah.
I think me, Bobby, I got the gig. Now I need to be brilliant at it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the same thing, right? It's kind of the same thing. And it's not like a egoic thing. It's more just that there's a job to be done.
Of course.
Let's get it done.
Yeah. Do you look at reviews?
Oh yeah, of course,
really.
yeah.
How do those reviews influence you and the way you, perform on a show?
How do they influence me? They don't really.
Yeah.
I disagree with some of them. I laugh at some of them, and then some of them I go, valid. Yeah, fair enough, or good. Like sometimes I like good critique in the sense of like, well, some people are just cantankerous.
Right.
You just go, well, they didn't like the show. Cool. Well, nothing, no chance for nuance there.
Yeah.
Which is probably what they were thinking when they were watching the show. But then some, I just go, well, yeah, they tapped really well into that. And actually, I agree with that. That's good. That's quite nice. That's a very nice way of putting that, or whatever. Yeah, I don't listen to them. I did a production of Ordinary Days this year. I did my first co-op production.
Yes.
Yeah, I really loved it with of Ordinary Days, and it was at 45 downstairs, and in the city, and is it 45 downstairs? That's what it's called, isn't it? Yeah. On Flinders Lane, and Tyrone Park directed, and it was that was cool. Like there was some reviews in that I like, that I got like positive reviews, and I went, the way that they articulated it, I was like, oh, that's nice. No, I get that's really nice that they saw that, because that's what I was trying to do with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, you don't know what your face is doing. I did an audition recently where they're like, giving me direction, and I said, oh, I thought that's what I was doing. They went, no, it's coming across that you're quite angry. I said, thank you. Thanks very much. Thanks for letting me know. So reviews, they're essential. They're an essential part of it. And sometimes I'm swearing at them, like I'm reading them, going, oh, this is a joke. Well, Colin, can you read it? Whatever.
When you go into an audition, do you find yourself sort of falling in love with an idea of doing certain roles for certain shows? And
of course,
if you don't get it, are you able to sort of let go if you don't get something that you've fallen in love with?
I'm better and better at letting it go.
Yeah.
Better and better of getting back to zero quicker.
Yeah.
You still feel it all. The harm is that you go for an audition and you fall in love with every aspect of getting the role, spending the money, how long it's going to be. You then create this life.
Yes, you've created
this entire relationship. You create this future for yourself.
Yeah.
And it's beyond, like, it's lunacy, because then when you don't get it, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
That's what all heartbreak is that you had an idea of your life with this thing, whether it's a person, whether it's a pet, whether it's a watch, whether it's a whatever, a house, a partner, whatever.
Yeah.
And then that doesn't happen. And then you go, you're heartbroken. There's heartbreak because that doesn't get to happen now.
Yeah.
And auditions are exactly that. But less and less do I invest as much time into it. Or I recognize as soon as there's a thought where I'm like, nope, like where I'm falling in love with this thing that hasn't ever happened, just crazy. And then as soon as I recognize that, I go, wait, that's what that thought is. That's useless to me. Move on. Move on.
When you don't get a show, you don't get a role that you were, wanting to get, and you see who is cast in that role, do you think to yourself, oh yeah, actually, maybe they were right in that
Absolutely
decision?
not.
Yeah.
Not a fucking chance. No way. Rubbish, terrible decision. What are they talking about? Nah, show's going to be, it's going to be a disaster. That's going to be an absolute disaster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. There's no one's Gandhi over here. Like, there's ego everywhere.
Yeah.
The show is a huge success, and you go, I have no idea why.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It makes no sense. Yeah. Oh, look, there's always that. We're all human. Yeah, of course.
You work a lot with Millsy.
Rob.
Yeah. How did you meet Rob? How'd that come about?
We met years ago in, just through the sort of music theatre traps, like as in, you know, in various different places. And then it might be in 2019, maybe we started doing these concerts together, like part of ensemble casts, doing these orchestra concerts. It was a George Michael thing that we did together, and then we always got put in the same changing room. Always.
Oh, really?
We didn't request it. There'd always be one, like not enough changing rooms, and some people would then like be paired up, and we would always be paired up without any level of requests.
Like it's fate. It's fate,
yeah,
right?
yeah, and we just got on really, really well.
Yeah.
And then I think maybe there was one that we did where we weren't paired. And we were like, well, this is weird.
Yeah.
No, I just went into
not right,
So
yeah.
then I just went into his room. And then we started, then one of the years that we were doing it, or like in 2019, that's what it was, yep. Then he was doing Carols by Candlelight, and then he asked me to do a duet with him. Because that year, I think Robbie Williams had done that duet with Jamie Cullum. And he wanted to do that as part of Carols by Candlelight. And they were like, oh, who can we do it with? And he said, let's get Bobby to do it. And so we did it together, and it was a huge hit. Like, it just went so well. And then Carols by Candlelight were like, they have asked me back with Rob ever since.
Yeah. This year as well?
Yeah.
So what is that sort of, when you do get together with Rob, is it just sort of like, is it easy? Like, when you find you sort of come together with people that you know so well, how easier does it get over time to just
easy.
Communicate with each other? Like
well, everything is personality
that?
engagement and personality management and personality sort of table tennis,
right?
In a way. And there's what he's naturally like, his natural inclinations for stuff, and then what mine is. He's highly creative, and mine is highly logical. I'm very, very logical. And so that as a combination works really well. But all of it is based around fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
Fun first. There's so much work that's involved. There's so much work and individual work and application and everything. But really, it's always so much fun, and it has to be. And like, even this sort of lead up to the Christmas season has been crazy this year for me, which is really, really good. But a lot of different projects on the go, a lot of different projects that are just kicking off, so that they really command a lot of attention that I'm producing and being part of, like the Jersey Forever stuff that I'd spoken about.
Yes.
We haven't actually.
No, we will get to it.
We'll
towards
get to
the
it.
end.
Yeah.
Yes.
But a lot of that stuff which is taking my attention, and then some Christmas where myself and Rob are being part of a production that Crown is putting on to sort of commemorate the end of Palms at Crown.
That's
is
right.
closing.
Yeah,
They're closing to renovate.
Yeah.
But they wanted to put on a ticketed spectacular, Broadway style spectacular, which they've never done before. And so they have myself and Rob involved. And so Yvette Lee, who's like a cornerstone of sort of the Australian, Melbourne at least, if not Australian entertainment industry, with her choreography originally, but now more so with her direction and creative direction. We're spearheading that with her and with Lucy Jurek, and we get together, and as soon as we get together in the room, it's all laughs. It's laughing. It took so much so that Yvette, before we go into rehearsals and stuff, she words me up. She's like, "Hey, mate, what I need from you and Rob in this rehearsal today is to be separate from each other, because it all trickles down from us two. Because we get together and we're making jokes, and we're like putting in ideas and choreography and all these bits and pieces, things that we know are going to work. Yeah. But for her, she's like trying to direct, 20 dancers and get this sorted, and there's a Santa Claus going like rogue, and like now there's pets, there's all this sort of stuff, and she can't get control of it because we're giggling and everyone's giggling with us. Right. And so we get a bit of that. So that dynamic is that. It's exactly what it is. And ours, like when we started writing together a few years ago for some live productions and stuff that we did, like I quickly realized that what worked for us is always choosing the positive. They're like with some duos, like they can kind of not undercut it, but take the piss out of each other. And there's a line of comedy in that.
Yeah, of course.
And I realized very quickly it just doesn't work. It doesn't work for us too. It's that if someone does something stupid, you go, you know what? It's probably my favorite thing you've done this year. And it's and that always yes ands, and it always creates this wonderful, positive, cheery, Christmassy dynamic.
Yeah.
And it's not, as he said it last year, like Christmas it's not Christmas without Rob.
Yeah.
So it's just great. That dynamic is great. And it started just through us sharing changing rooms, and then I had that opportunity to do the duet with him on Carl's by Candlelight, and that was just, it was lightning in a bottle. And they've asked me back every year since, and every year I never take it for granted ever. I wait for the call, because it's not my gig. I see it as, Rob is such a cornerstone of the a pillar of the Carl's by Candlelight regular cast, and he's just so loved in the industry, and it's so easy to see why. He's a legend, and he works so hard, and also he's the guy. Just, I always say he's the rule with Rob is he will make it work. He will always make it work, 100%.
Do you try and implement an element of fun with every job that you do?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just kind of natural. I just have my sense of humor. Sense of humor is so, it's just paramount to me, no matter what's happening, or maybe sometimes even to a flaw because I'm making too many jokes. It just is, but it helps me not take life too seriously and to get back to that zero thing. But I have to remind myself to feel things and to allow. I always let other people be their personality and whatever their authenticity is. But then for me, I have to just remind myself that it's, that it's okay for things to feel shit and to actually feel it and to go through it and to celebrate feeling bad. To actually celebrate it, because it's so important to feel it rather than to deflect from it or whatever. Yeah.
Growing up, did you always see yourself doing something like this? Like
No,
being a performer?
No, not at all. It wasn't until I got into like Riverdance. And then it wouldn't have been maybe a few years after Riverdance that I started really thinking that I was going to be like, I wanted to be a performer. Yeah. Especially once I got into music theatre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how old were you then when you started dancing in Ireland?
Oh, I was 4.
4 years old?
Yeah, it's pretty standard time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all Irish dancing, so it was just Irish dancing.
Yeah.
But kids, like, when they go into kindy and they start doing little baby ballet and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that version of that.
Yeah.
It's pretty standard.
That's incredible.
Not standard, but it's not. It's just not that irregular. Do you know what I mean? It's not strange. That's strange for people to start dance at a young age.
What do you think? A young Bobby would make of all this?
What do I think a young Bobby would make of all this? I just don't really think the young Bobby would really have that much of an opinion on it, because it wasn't like I was dreaming of doing this from the youngest age. I didn't particularly love dance. I was very good at it. I didn't particularly love it. I liked it.
Yeah.
I didn't particularly love it. Then there's the 15-year-old that actually started to love it. Once I got into Riverdance, I was like, I had all of this ability. And then I was around similar people and I loved it. So that kid, that 15-year-old, I guess it's hard to have that perspective. But when I think of I just turned 43. So the 43-year-old looking at that 15-year-old, I look at that with a lot of gratitude and a lot of joy and a lot of like forgiveness and just that personal thing. And I just sort of go that I look at that to remind myself of my natural kind of instincts and that is the sort of the raw dog human, you know, that's just literally just going yeses and nos.
Yeah.
You know, very little complications.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to do with the zero yeses and zero complications was just to dance all the time, was to create all the time, was to express all the time. So I look at that more as inspiration. But if I think of the younger person looking forward at that, I kind of don't really have an answer, to be honest.
I mean, did you think of doing anything else at that age, at 15, other than dancing?
Not really. Nothing that jumps to mind. Nothing of any sort of sustenance. Yeah, not really.
It's interesting. That's just always been with you for such a young age.
Yeah,
like
and it's a
that.
bit of a curse as well.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a curse because it's like, well, like if I wanted to start, thinking maybe of an exit strategy or something like to sort of maybe delve into something else, then I'm very limited in what other avenues that I could be doing that.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
One of the best things I think about getting older is that you are more self-aware of bad habits that you may have fallen into when you were younger. The only difference now is because you had experience and you've had some maturity, you can catch yourself before you fall into those bad habits. So when I was younger, I always had a tendency to catastrophize situations, and I sense myself falling into that now, but I can catch myself before I fall into it.
Yeah.
Have you found, if there's any bad habits that you've had when you were younger, have you found yourself catching yourself before falling into those bad habits?
Oh, yeah. But mine is more around like personal behavior.
Right.
Like I would just shoot comments from the hip. Like I that yes or no guy, just sort of just being so totally honest, or what I thought was honesty. Yeah. But like just that Billy the Kid, like gunslinging, like just truth bombs that all based on my opinion and nothing to do with the truth as well. And that got me into so much trouble. But I sort of, there's part of me that looks at that and actually admires that person.
Yeah.
I admire the tenacity. I admired that. But I know that nothing good comes of it. But I like the fire. I like the fire of it. So that person, I remind myself of, and I like that person. But I also know that person's not going to get me in. That's not going to do me any good either.
Yeah.
Now, that there has to be professional decorum, and there needs to be that relationship. Like it's that Marcus Aurelius thing of being hard on yourself but easy on others.
Right.
You know, and it's just having that grace with other people, which I just didn't have, and which was a lack of any sort of like contemplation of other people's feelings. So that person, I will say, is alive and well, but he is inside of me, and he doesn't. And it's not like I have to change myself or anything, but I just am aware that it just doesn't. My opinion doesn't matter.
Yeah.
My opinion doesn't matter unless someone asks for it or they're paying for it.
Yeah.
You know, like that. That's a different thing. And even then, it's grace first. Yeah, that I would say that.
You've been in the industry for a while now. Have you found that like younger performers who are just starting out, maybe you're working with them and it's their very first show, have you found that they've started coming up to you for advice?
Not as much as I'd like. Yeah, like it's like sort of. Yeah. Sort of. If anyone comes up to me with something, I'll just go, look, I've done this 1,000 times and you're not going to get anywhere with that. But it's not that much. Not that much. People are pretty clued on. Yeah. People like younger performers are far more clued on than what I was. As I said, I was a gunslinging young Irish lad, you know. And so I learned a lot of lessons the hard way. And so I wish very much so that I had reached out to other older performers at my younger age for advice, and I didn't. But like, if anyone ever asks me for stuff, I do give them that, and I probably lean into it a bit too. Like, avuncularly. Just gone, child, come here. I shall tell you the gifts of wisdom.
Why do you think you didn't have a tendency to ask for advice for older performances?
Because I thought I knew fucking everything. Because this is the big dog, and I know what I'm fucking doing, and that's what it's always worked out for me. And in fairness, it has.
Yeah.
But you get it's just that leaving home at an early age and having nothing but pure potential and talent and ability and all those things and just being brazen. Yeah. All of that.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way. I pissed a few people off, I suppose. But nothing too bad. I think.
While I remember, I've got to ask you about performing on the Sydney Harbour earlier this year for Guys and Dolls. Was that the first time you performed on the Sydney Harbour?
I think, I did, as part of the Lord Mayor's Ball, which is the thing at the back of the Opera House for the New Year's Eve party. So it's the big, New Year's Eve party that they put on at the back, which looks onto to the Harbour Bridge. So that is kind of on the harbour, but not like that. So Guys and Dolls was the most incredible, unique music theatre experience that you could ever experience. And I've been doing this now. My first musical was in 2003. And what is it now? It's 2025. So 22 years of performing. And that was so unique. That was so cool.
Yeah. Well, I had Jason Arrow on earlier in the year. And it rained on you guys quite a few times over those shows.
That was the good stuff.
Yeah.
That was awesome. It was good for us because you're just out there getting soaking wet doing this, classic music theatre show, and I'm playing Nathan Detroit.
And they give you volleys as well, right? They give you volleys?
You got volleys. The volleys are the ones because you don't slip.
Yeah.
But then it's great for the audience for about 10 minutes. They're like, woo! The novelty, it's raining. We're watching a show and it's outside, it's raining, and then it's and then there's a breeze, and you're like, I'm getting freezing. And those $5 ponchos which they make you pay for, they don't cover your knees. Yeah. They said that they're a donation to something, but but yeah.
So performing in the rain, then, what is that like? Performing?
It's fine. It's just wet. It's outside, and it's cold. It's just a novelty. It's just so unique. There's so many aspects of it that are unique. It's great.
I imagine the safety protocols are quite unique when it comes to doing a show like that as well.
Well, yeah, they have certain elements that they. I just can't believe how wet it can get for all of that electrical equipment. That it doesn't break down. I can't believe it.
Yeah,
it's so cool. That was the thing that I was really blown away by.
Yeah.
But we're downstage, water's pumping right down into that because we're right underneath the stages where we're getting ready and stuff.
Right.
So it's all the water's coming through, and they had to cancel the show once, midway through.
Midway through, yeah.
Yeah. But one time, we were doing the show and it just, the rain really just started to come down just on the final couple of numbers. So it was just this really cool, the optics of that moment were just awesome.
Yeah.
It's just cool.
Yeah.
Just really, really cool. Very, very unique. I don't know that I'll ever do anything like it again. As in that I'll have the opportunity to do anything like it again for so many reasons, for so many personal reasons, professional reasons, and then just that sort of lifetime sort of CV moment.
Doing something like that, it must spoil you afterwards. You think, how do I top that?
Again, maybe back in the day, the old gunslinger of old, maybe. Yeah. Whereas now I go, it's a highlight reel. Being a performer, if you're only trying to move in this direction, you are going to shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
You're asking for trouble.
Yeah.
You can't, it's impossible to go like that. It's just over time. It's a diagram which moves in that direction, and you have to allow that. One for them, one for you, one for the tax man, one for the mortgage man. You're doing one for that, and then you're just doing as I was doing earlier this year. It's been such a crazy year of performing for me, and within that incredible year, one of the most fruitful of my life, there was still 3 months where I didn't work.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's still part and parcel of it. And some of the gigs that I did are just some of the best and biggest gigs that I ever did. And then some of them were like, as we talked about, the thing of, I did Greece at the beginning of the year. I played Vince Fontaine in Brisbane for their final season for 4 weeks, and that was amazing. I started the show at the beginning of the second act. I was on stage for 12 minutes, and that was it. Amazing. It was amazing. I loved it so much. And then you go from that and on a show where it's just like line after line after line, doing that sort of stuff, where you're just constantly on stage. The dialogue, the comedy is so good, so timeless. And then you're moving into gigs. And then I go from that into a co-op. I do a co-op at 45 downstairs where the capacity in the venue is 100 people. And everyone there, from lighting, stage management, costume, are all getting paid the exact same. And the producers, like the director, everyone's getting paid the very, very same. And that is so amazing. And if you were to think of it along the lines of just being on this ski slope that you're on a ride with, like, oh, I can't do how am I going to top this? It's pointless.
Of course.
It's not going to get you anywhere. It's going to leave you very, very sad very, very quickly. And because really the only thing that I invest in myself is my own happiness. And just growing as a performer. And you grow with variety and handling different situations, from singing at a wedding to singing at someone's dinner party to singing on the Sydney Harbour to singing on Carols by Candlelight to producing a reunion concert tour to all of those things. It's all part of it. And if there's growth in every single thing, then you're naturally doing this. You are actually doing that. It's just not that way on paper.
So Jersey Forever. Talk to me about coming back for Jersey Forever.
Jersey Forever.
Yeah.
Well, look, Jersey Forever is the reunion of reuniting the original 4 stars of Jersey Boys, Australia. So we were part of the original production here in Melbourne and in Sydney. And we did the show together for about 2 years. Scotty left, then I left at the end of Sydney, as did Stephen, and Glaston has done every production ever as the role of Nick Massey. And so for us, we had done a couple of concerts back in COVID. There was an orchestra series that was happening, and we joined on. We did Adelaide and Melbourne. We played at the Palais in Melbourne. And Melbourne, well, they all sold out, but Melbourne was just this incredible show. Oh my God, when I tell you that the show was like monumental, like it was packed out, we blew the roof off. It was just crazy that there's this hunger for it. And then, so that was about 4 years ago, and we had been working with a promoter for a while, and we were waiting to put on shows, and we were looking at a tour and all that kind of stuff, and it just wasn't happening. And we were really hungry to do it. And so recently we just decided to do it ourselves. Or more so, I decided to do it myself.
I love that though. Like, let's just, take action and just do this. Yeah.
We're not getting any younger.
Yeah.
The music is timeless. Our chemistry is timeless. And so that's kind of, and the name, what we didn't choose that like on purpose, like, oh, it's kind of like it goes forever. It wasn't that at all. It was more just like on a group chat, all right, boys, we need a name. All right, what are we going to call it? And then it was like, what are we going to call it? And then just like everyone's just throwing in names or whatever. And Jersey Forever popped up, and I was like, Jersey Forever, it's pretty good. Jersey Forever. I was like, and we were going to call it The Boys Are Back. The Boys Are Back. And it was like, it needs a link.
Yeah, of course.
It needs a link. So it was like, Jersey Forever, The Boys Are Back, which is what we sort of go with. And so that is it. And we put on a show. We've got our first, with 3 performances in this month of November. I'm not sure when this is.
This will be out on the 17th of December.
Yes. Well, so in November, we had 3 performances, one in Parramatta, the Riverside Theatre, which sold out. And then we did a corporate function for Melbourne Airport, which was incredible at the Forum. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the reaction, when I tell you, the reaction is just... It's like it's still happening. It's like the show. People, it's been long enough for there be this sort of kiln for the music and for the show and for us essentially, especially the cast, to be in this sort of kiln of nostalgia, and so for it to really sort of to bake and for it to be like this proper feeling of nostalgia now. And so we just have that, like we're playing at the Coliseum in Western Sydney at the end of the month, and it's just amazing to us, like how fervent it is, and how just rich that the reaction is to the music and to us playing that music. And so it's amazing. It's very, very hard. It's very difficult. Singing all that Franki Valli stuff, it doesn't get easier. It doesn't. In fact, it gets a lot harder. And so for me as a producer, where I'm choreographing, directing, producing, wrangling, promoting, I'm doing everything. But again, it's all growth.
Yes,
it's all part of that growth piece where you are going like that as long as you're doing it. And so for me, the thing that I have to remind myself of is that it's not stress.
No,
it's just application.
Yeah,
it's not stressful. It's just there's plenty of people around to help. And of course, I'm trying to do as much of it as I can myself. Touring is very, very expensive. And so in order to make some money, I need to try as a producer to try and get those things done without jeopardizing the quality of the brand and of us boys and all that kind of stuff.
It's a lot of different hats you're wearing for this. I mean, I think I know the answer to this question, but I don't think. Do you fear burnout by taking on so many responsibilities like that?
No. Do I fear burnout? No, I'm really excited by it.
Because if you're doing something you love, then you shouldn't.
I'm really excited by it. I find because it's so hard.
Yeah, and it's so rewarding.
It's really rewarding.
Yeah.
And it's risk. So it's just really managing risk, and it's not taking it personally. I can't wear it.
Yeah.
I need to be aware of it, but I can't wear it.
Yeah.
I've got to. Now's the time. Now's the time. The boys want to show. I want to show. You know what I mean? Like when we get together, it's the same. It's a laugh. It's special. It's really special.
Yeah.
When we get together, it's really electric, and the boys, they work so hard. They work so hard. All of the show is entirely online. Like all of the material is completely online. But as I said, we're not getting any younger, so we need that extra rehearsal just to get that looseness. But they work so hard, and they're open to anything, and we're all in, and we want to get out there and make a name for ourselves. And I mean, who would have thought, like, how can you start a new band when we're the average age of about 47 or whatever? But I guess it just gives you that energy,
But we live so many lifetimes and do so many things in our life, We do so many things that, what you did when you were 20 is not the same thing you're going to be doing when you were 46.
No, and it's important to allow yourself to not do it the same either.
Yeah.
A lot of people sort of think back to, well, things worked for me back then when I was doing things this way.
Yeah.
But it's because it worked for you back then because of how old you were back then.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of grace given to you when you're much younger as well, like from an outside perspective. Yeah. And your body changes. Your body changes. You need to approach things differently, and with more grace, as I spoke about, to yourself. But it's that thing, you got to be hard on yourself. I practice all the time. I was practicing on the way here. It's just my lot in life. But there's so many opportunities for me to rest. As I said, there was 3 months this year when I wasn't working, and so I take those times and I go, okay, I have to. My mind is in October next year, But so I'm always planning ahead in that sense.
Yeah.
But that's just the life of a small business owner. Like I like to like sometimes when I think about it, I go, oh wow, we really have to think ahead, and then I go, it's just when someone owns a business, that's what they have to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. and I don't identify with it. It's not who I am. It's what I do, you know.
Yeah.
And I have to take care of who I am.
Yeah. I'll start to wrap up shortly. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Oh, my pleasure.
Appreciate it. This
Happy
has
to-
been
happy to-
I love having these chats. Really
Yeah.
just, you know.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
No, look, I mean, I never me talking, like you ask me a question, I'll just rattle on.
Well,
like I really like it.
I mentioned that I had Sam Ludeman on earlier this week.
Yeah.
And I mentioned that I'm going to be talking to you on Thursday, and he said, "Oh, you won't be able to shut him up." So
Yeah. He's right.
yes.
Yeah.
One last question. It's a question I always end on. What are the words of wisdom you live by?
Look good, sound good. Look good, sound good. That's it.
Yeah.
There's so much work that goes into that, and so much stuff that goes into like getting yourself to the position where you look good and you sound good, because it's all relative and it's all subjective. But to me, when I look good, it means that I've been taking care of myself. It means that I'm happy. It means that I'm balanced. It means that I'm putting time into all those things to achieve that. And to sound good means that I have to practice, that I have to put the time into it, that I work. There's a lot of self-application. So for me, my little thing is look good, sound good.
Yeah.
And that keeps me in check. You know, that really keeps me in check. That might not work for other people, but for me, it just kind of works.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Bobby, thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
My pleasure.
It's been wonderful. Beauty.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries.
It's great.
Just before I touch off,
Yeah.
Just in case, can I just get the intro again?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yep.
It's not the end of the world, but just in case.
Yeah. How much of the intro do you reckon?
Just until we start speaking with
Oh,
Bobby.
okay. Welcome to another episode of the Game of Life podcast. I'm thrilled today to be joined by one of the best performers in all of Australia, if not the world. The best performer that's ever lived or ever will live, I think. Bobby Fox, welcome to the show.
And we'll end the podcast right there. That's fine. Thank you so much for that introduction.
Thank you.
I'll post that. I'll post that one.
Just over and over again every single day. Yeah.
All good?
Beautiful.
Nice, man. Thank you. Cheers, Dan.
Yeah, no,
That was
it's
awesome.